I'm shocked by this update. It was recently reported that OG Anunoby, due to his injury, was likely going to be sidelined until after the All-Star break. But in a surprising update from head coach Tom Thibodeau, he stated that he's not ruling out OG Anunoby for a return for tonight's game against the Indiana Pacers. We're going to break down all of these latest reports today. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you have notifications turned on. So that way, anytime we drop new content, you get notified. And now, let's get started. Tom Thibodeau provides a big update on OG Anunoby and his return. I thought it was going to be weeks before we saw OG Anunoby take the floor again for the Knicks. But then, New York releases the following injury report. Shout out to New York basketball on the app X for giving us the following information. OG Anunoby has now been upgraded to questionable against the Indiana Pacers for tonight's game. OG Anunoby has been upgraded to questionable for tonight's game against the Indiana Pacers. Wait, hold on. He's questionable for tonight's game against the Indiana Pacers? And then on top of that, Tom Thibodeau says the following to the media. Shout out to Knicks Videos and Steph Bondi for giving us the following information. According to them, Tom Thibodeau says that OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson both participated in parts of practice. Thibodeau said he's not ruling out OG Anunoby for tonight's game against the Indiana Pacers. Tom Thibodeau says he is not ruling out OG Anunoby for tonight's game, while Mitchell Robinson still needs more time. And basketballreference.com basically confirms these reports by stating the Knicks could get back one of their starters in OG Anunoby to their lineup against the Pacers. The fact that Anunoby's status was upgraded came as somewhat of a surprise since ESPN's Shams Charania reported over the weekend that OG Anunoby was expected to return after the All-Star break. So not after All-Star break. Tonight, OG Anunoby could potentially return tonight for the Knicks. That's why I'm shocked. After reading those reports, I could not help myself. I had to do some more digging to get some more information about OG Anunoby and his possible return tonight against the Pacers. And shout out to Ian Bagley and the team at SNY for giving us the following information. According to SNY, OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson both did parts of practice on Monday and are making steady progress, but they are still not ready to return to game action. Anunoby, who has been dealing with a mild foot sprain, is closer to making his return after missing the past 3 games. And Thibodeau, again, did not rule him out of tonight's game against the Indiana Pacers. But here is the main part, and this is why I'm so happy I looked into this a little bit further. SNY stated, the tenor of his comments did not connotate optimism, basically meaning the way he said it was not really giving anybody the vibes that OG Anunoby was really going to return tonight. SNY continues here by stating Mitchell Robinson, who has yet to make his season debut after undergoing surgery on his foot in the offseason, is doing more and more each day. But the center has not yet participated in any 5-on-5 work during practice and still needs more time. The Knicks have 2 games left before they reach the NBA All-Star break, which will see them have 8 days between games. Shout out to SNY for helping to clarify the situation. Even though Tom Thibodeau is not ruling out OG Anunoby from a return in tonight's game against the Pacers, the way he said it really didn't give anybody confidence that we would actually see OG Anunoby tonight. And since we're playing a back-to-back, tonight we face the Pacers, tomorrow we face the Hawks. Since that's the case, we have to understand that the Knicks are not going to force OG Anunoby back. Even if he does come back tonight, he's not going to play tomorrow. And since we have 2 games before All-Star break, in my opinion, why risk it? Why take the chance with OG Anunoby? I would rather him be fully healthy, fully prepared, no issues, no obstacles, and ready to go right after All-Star break than rather risk it with him now for these next 2 games. I know they're important. They're against the Hawks, who have been playing very good basketball, and Indiana, who has been playing very good basketball after getting healthy again. So we have to understand that these games matter, especially for seeding and for the Knicks to make sure they stay exactly where they are in the standings. I understand the importance of both of these games, but I also understand that health is the most important thing for this team. If we are fully healthy going into the postseason, we are going to be extremely dangerous, especially if that team has time put in and has learned how to play together. Chemistry is undefeated. I would rather the Knicks prioritize that and player health more than anything else. Do not rush back Mitchell Robinson. You haven't done so all season. You might as well not do so now. Same thing with OG Anunoby. When they're ready, fully healthy, no issues, no obstacles, then fine, have them come back. But OG Anunoby was doubtful a few days ago, then questionable, doubtful, and then it wasn't really anything to worry about. And then we had to wait until after All-Star break to see him, and now potentially he could return tonight. OG Anunoby, his status legitimately has been all over the place. It's hard to follow at times because at times, depending on who you're listening to, it sounds bad. And then at other times, it sounds really good in terms of the fact that he dodged the major bullet. But either way, I think that he should be returning after the All-Star break. It makes sense for everybody involved. You don't rush him back. You don't take that chance, and you're still prioritizing player health. And the Knicks need to do that a lot more. We don't need to continue to play players when they're having issues clearly with their bodies. Karl-Anthony Towns, Josh Hart, sometimes during the games, you can see them grabbing their knees, their elbows, their shoulders. It's clear. Everything hurts. Everybody on this Knicks team needs a break. I'm very happy we're so close to All-Star break. We could not get there soon enough, but prioritizing player health also means that if some of our players are questionable and they really can't go, but they're pushing themselves to go, that could risk injury later on down the line in the season when we don't want it to happen. One of the main ways you can avoid this is by expanding your rotation and utilizing your bench a lot more than we have been. Maybe 20 minutes plus for some bench players, 15 at the very minimum for anybody coming off the bench, because that helps your starters rest a little bit more and have fresher legs to end the game and avoid risk to injury. Given Tom Thibodeau's comments and his confidence behind his words, I don't think OG Anunoby is returning tonight. Questionable, probably will try to give it a go, might be a game time decision, but I think overall he'll be ruled out. And if he's ruled out tonight, he's likely going to be ruled out tomorrow as well too, because that just makes the most sense. We'll see exactly what happens, but it is very encouraging to hear that he is that close to returning that he could potentially return tonight. That means even if he doesn't return tonight or against Atlanta tomorrow, after All-Star break, right after All-Star break, I'm talking about the first game after All-Star break, OG will be available and ready to go. And that, for me, makes me very happy because right after him, we're getting the blockness monster back. And once we're fully healthy and we get all of that defensive power back, let's see what that Knicks team looks like, because we haven't seen that team all season long. But what about you guys? What do you think about the following injury report indicating that OG Anunoby could possibly return tonight for the Knicks against the Indiana Pacers? Do you feel that OG should return tonight, or do you agree with me? Do you think the Knicks should continue to hold him out until after the All-Star break? Let me know in the comment section below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below. And of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans, take care of yourself, your families, and each other. Peace and love.